Hey guys, so we're back with more random good games. Hopefully this one's a little cleaner after the last one. Tonight we're looking at Journey for the PS4. It's a pretty interesting game, very different. It's more about exploration and kind of the experience. It's got like the graphics are gorgeous and it's got kind of a moving score that goes along with it. There isn't like a coherent storyline, so it leaves it leaves a lot up to the interpretation of the viewer. And one of the coolest things though about this game is that how they incorporated multiplayer into it. So basically, what happens, I don't know if we'll see it today because it's an older game, but at the time, what you could do is you could play and you'd see other people like similar to yourself, same kind of characters, trying to figure out what to do. And you couldn't speak to them and they couldn't communicate, but you could watch them, you could follow them. You guys could work together on different things. So it was kind of this like very kind of pure experience with them, because there's no language division, there was no voice interaction. It was purely just watching and seeing what they did. So if we see that today, it was kind of neat. But again, there isn't like a real coherent storyline. Like, they give you bits and pieces, and you kind of know what you're doing. It's kind of a lot of the interpretations left to the viewer. But it's neat. It's kind of a cool world to step into. This company generally is pretty experimental with the games. Like I think it's Santa Monica Studios. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I think they're a Sony studio, so I think they're only available on Sony systems now. But what did they do before? They used to have a game, or they had a game called Flower, which was kind of I think it was a launch title, or was close to a launch title for the PS3. And before that, there was a game called Flow, which was kind of like some sort of sea creature, and all of them kind of incorporate ambience music and very soothing, not very like objective based. Like, they're very kind of, again, experiences. For Flower, you kind of were, what was it? It was like you were a pedal and you'd be blown by the wind, so you kind of ride the wind. Anyway, it's really interesting. They're very conceptual type games, not traditional. But anyway, let's take a look at this. Not a very long game. I'm pretty sure you can finish the entire thing in about 2 hours. But again, it's more about the experience. Hopefully that comes across in this one. And of course, it is fairly old. I think, when did it come out? I forget when it came out. It was a while ago now, because again, it just got really re-released on PS4. But it was originally a PS3 title. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, they want to talk about Journey, the rock band, which is not what we want. Yeah, it's quick. It's a quick game, which is kind of cool if you want to sit, like, play the game in one sitting. Again, it's very different. No, I don't think so, Brooke. Let's see. Okay, so 2012 is when it came out. So let's take a look at this. I don't know, what did you hear about it? Sorry, Brooke, I wasn't looking at the chat. What did you hear about the game? It got a lot of notoriety when it first came out, because again, it's kind of like an art piece more than a typical kind of game. I think it was well received, but if someone were to look at it and maybe not want to take a chance on a game that's a little different, might have missed out on an opportunity. Also, if you don't have a Sony console, then obviously you'd never be able to play it, so this might be an opportunity for that, or at least just take a look at it. So I think audio is okay. Let me know if it's not. But it looks okay from this side. It's kind of neat because there isn't even, and this could be frustrating for some people, but they don't really tell you what the buttons do. I don't think they do. Well, I guess we'll see in a second. It's been a while since I've played it. Oh, No Man's Sky, yeah, very different. No Man's Sky looked like it was going to be an awesome game, and then it turned out to be a totally different kind of game. A lot of people were pretty upset about that one. So this is the character here. We don't get a name or anything. I don't think there's even any dialogues. You can use like tilt features. I never do. So I'm just going to use the regular. So I don't know. Should I give? So basically, just talking about how you can. I think you can press. So that's your action button, basically, which you really have no idea what it means. But again, part of this isn't. It's not to. It's not really to spoon feed you. It's kind of just like explore. Go explore the world. See what this is. I'll be really interested to see if we see other players here, because that was a really neat thing when I first played it. Because whenever you start playing this game, you have no idea what you're doing. Yeah, I hear you, Broke. I stopped pre-ordering, except for certain games like Zelda or Mario or something, after Halo ODST. That was the game that turned me off pre-ordering. So this is your title screen. So basically you see all this, you don't know what these markers are, or really which, you know, I always thought of her as a female. I don't know, I think it's supposed to be a female. You don't know whether these are grave markers, you don't know anything, right? All you know is, I guess I'll go to the, you know, thing shining. And I know that this button does that. Oh great, my battery's low again. PS4 battery life isn't as good as PS3. I thought there was one I could press to... So basically it's one button. That's your interaction. I thought there was a jump. Well, we'll find out. So basically, you know, you'll see stuff like this. It looks kind of similar to that sign we saw when we pressed the button. So we'll do it again. I guess I'll describe it too, because I mean, it'll make more sense if I tell you rather than kind of leave it up for the mystery. So what they're saying is, obviously, so you can kind of fly by pressing X, but it's dependent on essentially how long, see that little scarf or whatever that is in the end? That's essentially how much power you have. So sorry, not the scarf, but the markings on the scarf. So if I were to go back there to those floaty things, I'll get more. And later on, I think you can get longer scarves and whatever. So far, that's all we know. Again, it's a really different kind of game because it really doesn't hold your hand. It's kind of more of an older game that way, because older games tend to not to tell you very much. It's kind of just go do what you can. And figure it out. Whereas games now kind of, you've always got like a 20-minute tutorial level and all that, which is handy because games also used to be pretty frustrating if it was too complicated, whatever you had to do, or if it wasn't clear, whatever. So, but it's atypical of games now to kind of just throw the user in and not kind of tell them what they're supposed to be doing. But again, this game is kind of all about exploration and kind of just making your way and not knowing what you're supposed to be doing. So, but they kind of tell you where to go. You see up there on the mountain, it's lit up. It's cool when I can do more than this. Like when I have more ability. But it's just really relaxing. It's kind of a soothing experience. So it's kind of different kind of game that I'll be putting on here. But I thought, what the hell? It's late. And it's the game I wanted to put on here. I haven't played it actually in a couple of years. But it's got this neat aesthetic. Like, the design is kind of, you know, it's different visual design. I thought I could get these ones. I don't think so, but I think there are different ways you can go and different ways you can do certain things. It's not really that complicated. It's more just kind of like, can I jump? I can't get it. It's more just here. It'll be easier when or I'll have a better demonstration when I go to a different booking place. Like, this is just the initial starting point. There are also puzzles you have to do and whatever. It's unfortunate there's nobody playing, because it's kind of neat to see other people trying to figure out what the hell to do, because that's really, I don't know what it's about. It's not a hard game, and again, it's not a very long game, so. And I don't remember everything either. Like, I haven't played this in several years. Sure, man. So basically, like, the one button is to kind of jump and glide, and the other one's kind of just to interact. So it's very simple in terms of what you do. This will be our first exposure to the storyline, basically, from what I recall, at least. Again, it's been quite a while since I've played. Okay, I thought there was something to do with it. Oh, right. So I think the idea is she's kind of like a... It's like a sisterhood, or like she's like a monk or something, priestess. And the idea is that they've got to do this, you know, pilgrimage or something to this mountain, this peak. You'll see here. They use all these, you know, all this imagery to tell a story. Continues throughout the whole thing. But there's no dialogue. There's no, you know, explanation. It's kind of just left to your own interpretation, which is interesting, but it could put some people off, I know. Again, it's got this, like, you know, score in the background. It seems kind of like cinematic in a way. Well, in that there's a story being told that's very visually based. Scale is pretty massive, but it's not all this color scheme. Like, it does change. I think there's underwater parts and whatever, but it's, again, let's see how much we can get through here without. I don't know. One thing I find appealing about this is that it's, again, there's no time limits. There's no, like, guidance. It's just like, look at it, you know, play with it. You don't have to sit for a long period of time. You don't have to worry about save points. Just experience it. So it's very different than your typical video game where you're kind of like go from A to B, you know, repeat, you know, be told exactly what you're doing. It's just cool to see people trying different things and not being as concerned with. Like, I like when I see people kind of pushing boundaries and just being experimental. I mean, obviously they don't all look like this and they don't all turn out like this, but I found this fun for something different. And again, if you can get it for, you know, $5 or something, I'd say it's worth a shot, even if it is just 2 hours. Why not, right? I don't know. I guess it depends on whether you're into this kind of stuff. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, there you go. Creating the bridge. Okay, there's gotta be another one I have to do that similar thing to. I think that's it over there. There's more stuff I could be exploring, but I'm kind of just trying to keep it kind of straightforward. Just for simplicity's sake. So I could collect more and more of these, but I'm just trying to, again, keep it straightforward. So I've just been completing that bridge up there. I don't know how long I'm going to go with this thing. I just wanted to put it up here in case people had played it or never heard of it or whatever. It's kind of a different game for me to be doing, but I'm okay with that. I guess I'll do this one last one. That should complete it. I was hoping to be able to show a different part of the game where it isn't just all sand. Maybe I will. I forget how soon that happens. But there are other colors in the game. It's not like stuck in a sand level. Season 5. What's Season 5? elegant landing right there. Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they messed up Dorn. I hope that it doesn't go like that in the books. I can't imagine it will be the same. It won't be the same. It can't be. Makes no sense. They did that to Martells. So I don't know if you saw, Broke, when they were talking about the story. Like, they just use pictures. They don't really tell you. You'll see another one in a second. Again, no dialogue. It's all visual. I don't know if they'll show the pictures like last time. Like they showed, like, you know, like as if they're like carvings or, yeah, you know, wall art, that kind of stuff. Or I guess from a book as well. So here actually they're depicting the journey we just made. But basically, again, it's just kind of unclear. They're just showing the journey to the mountain, essentially. I guess we'll see in a second if that indicates what we're going to do next. Or... It's kind of like a dreamy experience, right? Like it seems otherworldly. Like without having any dialogue or really any build-up, they're kind of establishing like this different place. It's almost storybook-like. Or I guess more like a children's story, kind of like a myth or fable or something. Hey lady, how's it going? Yeah, this is just one of those, it's like an old game a couple years ago, like 2012 or something. It's just kind of this interesting, kind of artsy kind of game. There's no dialogue or anything. It's kind of just like exploration, and I don't know. I thought it was kind of neat. I mean, I remember really liking it before. It's not your typical type of video game. It's more kind of experience. It's too bad nobody plays this one anymore, because I was saying before, like when other people are playing it, you can see them trying to figure out the puzzles and like what they're doing. So there'd be other people looking like this, just walking around trying to figure out what to do. There's not a lot of guidance in this game. It's kind of just get out there and try stuff out. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. I liked it. It's kind of experimental. This company takes kind of chances like that on the games they make. I kind of like it. It's kind of like it's very soothing. It's kind of a lot of ambient music. Not the kind of time-sensitive, kind of hurry, objective-driven type games, which is, typical for video games, right? So I just appreciated the difference. Plus it's late, and I figured why not? Something a bit more relaxing. All we know is we have to go to the top of the mountain there. And there are ruins all over the place. Again, the story that they tell us is very like bare bones, so they leave it up to the viewer almost to fill in the gaps, to explain, or to make up their explanations for what's happening. So basically we have two buttons. One of them is to do this, which is basically your interact button. Yeah, exactly, lady. That's what I'm thinking. I think I can ride these things. Can't remember. I haven't played this since I guess 5 years ago, 6 years, whenever it came out. Oh, I want that. So that should make my scarf longer, which means I can fly longer and all that. For some reason, that's just that's just what, I don't know why. It's just what happens. Yeah, really, eh? It's just a really smooth experience. Like, there's nothing really holding you back. It's different because it's not the type of game where you die or anything. It's just, complicated thing is, puzzles or trying to figure out what to do. I thought it was gonna drop. Oh, did it? Yep. Sweet. Yeah. No, it's just a different experience. I remember when it first came out, a lot of people were confused by it. It got a lot of, like accolades, like it won a bunch of awards and stuff. But I think it's the type of thing that could be intimidating to a lot of people because, it doesn't really fit a typical genre, or it doesn't, you know, some people, you know, it's, you're used to having very objective based things where it's like do this then this, right? It's like the idea of having to, I mean, it doesn't hurt that it's a gorgeous game either, like it's visually attractive. It's on PS4. It's on PS3 too though, and that's how I originally played it. But it's a studio owned by Sony, so I don't think that's the only downside, right? Is that if people are using like Xbox or PC, I don't think it's available on PC. So that's the only downside to any of these kind of exclusive. Yeah, no worries. So you'll see here, I don't know if you were here before when it showed any of the storyline, but this, when we're gonna sit down, or she's sitting down, and we'll see part of the storyline here. But again, there's no dialogue, no text. It's kind of just all very visual. Let me see this. Again, not totally clear. It's just shows basically that, you know, there's, you know, a journey or a movement. I get the impression it's kind of like a pilgrimage or something, and but it doesn't really fill in the gaps, right? It leaves it open to interpretation. You know, what's happening, why. You know. I don't know. I found it really attractive in that way. Where all you know is you need to keep going. And all the other, I mean, that's probably the fourth time they've kind of given us this kind of glimpse into whatever the storyline is, but all of them were very similar like that, where basically it was just kind of showing movement, like echoing kind of some of the puzzles we'd had to solve, and but no more descriptive than that. I think I can ride this guy. So the music changed. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Again, the music, I don't know, I really was enamored with it. And it isn't all the same kind of color schemes, it's not all the, you know, it's not the same elements, like there are different parts of the game. And I was saying earlier, like, you can actually go through this entire game in a couple hours, like maybe 2, 3, 4 hours, something like that. No longer than 4 hours, I'd say. So again, it's more just like a story, right, where you kind of just walk through it, you see different things, you experience, you know, different environments, different music, whatever. Again, if there are other players, you see them doing all this stuff too. Yeah, no, it's moving. Again, I kind of think of it kind of like a more of kind of like a visual experience, or I get, I don't know. I mean, it's very much visually based, but rather than just kind of, I don't know. Just seems more open-ended to me. Maybe more, I don't know, more organic, really, than a game where you're not as restricted by oh, let's look at that. You're just not as restricted. Yeah, me too. I just kind of like the idea of getting out of like the very, you know, like black and white kind of right or wrong kind of approach to something. It's kind of like again, just more immersive and kind of. I just feel it is kind of more of an organic experience where just investigate, try things out. You know, eventually they'll get sorted out. Much less restrictive than more traditional games. And there's something very relaxing about that, right? Where you're not worried about time, you're not worried about dying. It's not your typical, like, because games have kind of become that way, where everything kind of fits kind of a very formulaic kind of experience, and part of that's for simplicity, right? Like, you don't have to explain it to the person. Like, a person can kind of just jump in and escape, right? Which is kind of part of the point. But it doesn't have to all be that way. But I guess the other trick is this is, you know, it's a business too, right? So companies don't really want to take chances when they don't have to, which is unfortunate. I can understand it. Just, yeah. There we go again with the surfing. I feel like this is like late night radio. I'm speaking really softly. Whatever. It's late. See the colors are starting to change. I think if we can get inside them, we might. I remember really loving like the light, the sun reflecting off of the sand. Just finding this bit, like vista here, I felt was very beautiful. Like just being able to take the time and just appreciate. Like you're not even able to see what's coming up, right? So you don't even have to pay attention. Nope, I wasn't paying attention. Okay. I didn't see myself off to the side there. Change again, or I think soon we will. Yeah, I know. Things got cooler in a hurry. So again, we don't know what the relationship is here. We just assume that she's like an elder or superior of some sort. Maybe the one in red might be younger and she's learning. I forget if they ever say that it's male or female. I just always assumed it was female. I mean, I'm sure they didn't say because they wanted to leave everything very open-ended. You know, leave it to the user, or viewer, player, whatever. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of why I think of it almost like a children's book or something, right? Where like imagination is, you know, it's encouraged, right? Whereas I guess as time goes on, you know, time is a concern, and you know, I don't know, understanding or retention. You know, you're concerned about being able to use it versus just experiencing it. You get too focused on like the function of something, or I don't know. So here we're more blue. I think we hit water soon, which is kind of cool. But I like how it shifts, that it's not always, you know, gold or orange or yellow, red. Like you do get, you know, different. I'm pretty sure we do get water. I can't remember, to be honest. We'll see. Maybe it doesn't actually show you. This is, I think, I always thought of this as underwater. Not sure why. I guess those things kind of look like fish to me. These look like seaweed or something. I think the sounds also, it sounds underwater. I think we eventually see some, oh, that's not the right way. See some creatures or something down here. But it's definitely got a different feel to it than the other part. Maybe I have to go up. Alright, let's do this again. It's just wandering. Those things up there look kind of like jellyfish. I'm rationalizing here, but that was my interpretation. You gonna take me up? Kind of running up these things is kind of cool. Yeah. That's what I thought too. I thought I could ride that thing, but... So something's happening. Well, there's no actual fight. I think that this is supposed to represent like tension. But I don't believe we actually have to fight it. I think it's just like they showed us when they were talking about the story. It was just something that threatened them or something, but it didn't actually. We might just have to avoid it. I can't recall. Being hit before. That'd be really funny if I died. I never died in any of the other times I played, so I could be wrong. I think it's just supposed to represent some sort of struggle. Okay, good. Oh, she's moving really slowly. Oh, she's good. I want to fly. I know, I'm getting wrecked. Back to calm. But I like how they keep it kind of mysterious, right? You don't even see her face. Like everything. Like, I guess it kind of is representative of the whole game, where it's kind of like everything's shrouded in, you know, a certain amount of mystery. I guess what they're saying here is the city itself is buried under sand. So again, it's unclear, all the things. Like all the details are unclear. I don't know, I might be editorializing a bit here, but I just liked how it kind of engendered like a sense of, or fostered a sense of wonder. Like, oh, my scarf's gone. That's not good. Maybe when I died, I lost. Maybe I'll get it back. Oh, there it is. I guess we're going up. Yeah, no, I've got to do the same thing. Well, thanks for checking it out. It's fun to do this kind of thing. Of course. Anytime. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Just streaming, just, you know, getting people together, talking about stuff. Whoops. Thank you. I've thought about doing more book stuff. I'll probably end up doing more like discussion stuff as time goes on. Once I get more used to the video side of things and just editing. I have a lot of fun with that stuff too. Gaming's just an easy way to kind of start things off. It's something I enjoy doing. It seems like people like it too, so. But yeah, I'd like to do more. Oop. Oh, I see. So as long as I'm in the white. Oh, really? That could be interesting. I never thought of that. I was thinking about doing like chapter summaries and discussions and that kind of stuff. But yeah, some people might like that. Like reading stories. That could actually be fun. At this point, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Yeah, that'd be neat. There we go. This is interesting. What's this thing do? I guess I can ride it. let's go over here. Can I make it? Nope, nope. There we go. Oh Jesus, it's already 3 o'clock. Okay, I should probably be good. I guess this is this is as good a place as any to end this one. But hope you guys liked it. Again, pick it up on any PlayStation system if you guys want. It should be pretty cheap right now, and it's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed the heck out of playing it tonight just for an hour. But try to do more of these though, just random games, especially like different kinds of games and ones that maybe not get as much notice, or especially if they're a couple years older. But yeah, no, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. And thanks for stopping in, everyone. Lady, thank you. Yeah, have a good night, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good night.